Well, good morning, everybody. And of course, over the weekend, the kind of major headline here was the impacts from Hurricane Fiona. And I'm taking you backwards in time here just to show you Hurricane Fiona as it rapidly intensified as it neared Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico took the right-hand side of this system as it intensified, which meant wind gusts well over 75 miles an hour. And we saw torrential rains that are still there early this morning. Now, the eye early today, as the sun was rising, passed right over, the far eastern side of the island of Hispaniola here in the Dominican Republic. And there's the brand new data we've got. So this is a pretty powerful hurricane. As it went over Puerto Rico yesterday, I'm sure you heard that a lot of folks had their power knocked out. And just looking at one of my favorite websites, poweroutage.us, we see that power has been restored for some. 1.4 million customers tracked, 1.3 are still without power. So this is going to continue to be a significant problem across Puerto Rico, which saw in some places over 25 inches of rain from this hurricane. Now, Fiona is making this pretty hard turn to the north and is expected to strengthen to become a major hurricane and then pass possibly just to the west of Bermuda, putting the right-hand side of the hurricane over Bermuda. And then later, it could actually get pulled into the Canadian Maritimes as a deeper trough settles in over the eastern part of Canada. I'll show you that in just a few seconds. But before we get there, I do want to look just over the last day or so at the infrared satellite imagery across the United States, because in addition to a deep cutoff low in Northern California, produced a lot of rain. Whoops, just got to reset there. There we go. There's that cutoff low. Some showers that moved through parts of Montana, which is needed. We did see a very large complex of storms that emerged out of Iowa into Illinois last night, producing some large hail and some strong straight line winds. And this was really the second round of storms, the ones on the day before on Saturday hitting parts of southern Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas. So you stitch that all together, and this is what the last 72 hours worth of total accumulated precipitation looks like. We can see the very heavy rainfall from some of these storms. Again, the severe threat on Saturday was here, and on Sunday moved out of Iowa and Missouri into Illinois. But you can see how heavy some of that rain was. Upper Midwest saw some rain, but notice in Northern California, some places you're picking up over 3 inches of rainfall. Just to show you, though, we had quite a bit of hail damage. In fact, I had some at my house last night, which is right over here in east central Illinois. We can see the swaths on the radar-derived hail data here showing in Kansas and Nebraska, then coming through parts of Iowa and Illinois where some of those larger hailstones fell last night and the day before. Okay, where's it all going? Let's go straight to the high-res NAM model. Let's pick this up right here about mid-morning. So as we play this forward, we have one front that clears New England. This is going to be bringing in showers and storms here. Continue to see showers and storms in and around Florida, and the cutoff low still spinning over California. By the time we get through tonight into tomorrow, there could be a few complexes of storms that roll out of Montana, come through parts of the northern plains that get into Minnesota and Wisconsin, but continued heavy rains over here in California through tomorrow morning because that upper level low isn't really moving too much. It'll be on Tuesday night that we're going to watch this next big surge of moisture that comes out of, well, really out of Mexico, hits Arizona, parts of New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. And at that point, it's going to link up with a front from a much deeper low rolling through the Canadian prairies. And that's a big front we have to be talking quite a bit about, because as it sweeps through on Wednesday into the eastern Great Lakes, there's a severe weather threat. Could see storms along it here, and then a pretty big change in temperatures after it goes through. But before I get to those temperatures, I do just want to give you a quick look at the next 7 days of total accumulated precipitation. Now remember, this is the 0Z run, so it included the rain that was happening early this morning here in Illinois. You can see each of those pieces coming together here over the next few days. But from Texas up to parts of the mid-Atlantic, this area is going to be protected by higher pressure, keep the tropical systems away, and we do see warmer and drier conditions. So harvest progress will happen here, but we'll be dodging a couple of rain events throughout the Midwest and over here toward the central northern plains. So let's go have a quick look at it on today's high-res European model runs. We've seen through Tuesday into Wednesday. So there's the front by Wednesday evening pressing through. Here's Fiona. As we go through Thursday, that front continues to sag. High pressure comes in behind that. That's the frost threat. And the upper level low that was over California, that's now kind of merging here with another system that's coming through parts, well, out of Idaho and into Montana. So we see Thursday into Friday. That could push back into the northern plains, giving us another kind of break in the harvest efforts with some scattered rain. But take a look over here on the East Coast. There's Fiona getting pulled into the upper level low. And as you notice, it comes over there through parts of Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and then eventually possibly producing some snow in here. Amazing how these things can make that transition. But overall, if you just say stitch it all together and give me one map, this is your next 15 days in terms of precipitation anomalies. So despite the rainfall coming through parts of the Midwest, we're going to have a lot of harvest effort being made in this area. Now, from here, the temperature part of this briefing is quite interesting. Ready? Monday's highs, I mean, this is midsummer heat here. And we see on Tuesday, we could crack 100 degrees across a large area. But there's the front. There's the cloud cover from the cutoff low. And as this front advances, temperatures could drop 30 to 35 degrees by the time we get into Thursday. Now from Texas over to the mid-Atlantic, we're going to keep our cooler weather. We get one quick shot at some cooler weather on Friday here, but notice going into the weekend, it kind of warms back up. But what I'm concerned about, especially when we get into like Thursday morning, Friday morning, where I've got gray on this map is where we expect some patchy frost. Now this map is made by the National Digital Forecast Database, and we're going to update it again tomorrow to see how things change. But if we do dodge a frost from this mid to late week front that comes through, take a look at these temperatures going out here into the beginning of October. We just see the models really favoring some warmer conditions. If there's a place that's cooler, it's parts of New England, but it means if you miss the frost this week, we'll get into October before you have your next threat. One of the big things we'll cover in tonight's long-range briefing plus tomorrow morning's report is more about what the harvest weather is going to look like. So I hope you all look forward to hearing about that. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.